Hello and welcome to Angelo's Reviews. Now, the last couple of days I was in Paris. Last night I came back home from Paris and I went only to see this really special concert which took place on Thursday night in the Maison de la Radio et de la Musique in Paris, which is where the Radio France headquarters are based. And this concert featured the Orchestre Nationale de France, conducted by the great maestro Riccardo Muti. Now, this concert was extra special because on Thursday afternoon, a few hours before the concert, the orchestra made an announcement about Maestro Muti, and they named him Conductor Emeritus of the Orchestre Nationale de France. And I was completely shocked because he's never even been their chief conductor. Yet he still gets the title. I'm very thrilled for him. And this concert was just simply out of this world. It was just outstanding. This video, I don't think is going to be a long one because I don't know. It's quite hard to describe Muti's performances other than just simply breathtaking. The way he structures, the way he constructs different passages, the way he interweaves them and stuff. It's just absolutely outstanding. He knows the music inside out. I know he still uses a score for every piece, but he knows literally exactly what he wants. The first half, there was an intermission. The first half featured purely enjoyable Italian music, and the first piece was a piece which ought to be performed a lot more often, and it's Contemplazione by Alfredo Catalani. Now, Catalani was a contemporary of Puccini, and Catalani died when he was only 39 years old. And this piece is all about contemplations, contemplating what Catalani may have been at his lowest point at that point, when he was writing this piece. And this piece is so dramatic, full of drama, very much like Puccini. Reminds me a lot of Mascagni as well, like his Cavaliere Rusticana. And Maestro Muti is just a master of this Italian music. And the way he sculpted the music was just absolutely exceptional. Some of the detail, the strings, the orchestra have got such a great sound. They got a really warm but also clean. They got a very clean, transparent French sound, which makes the orchestra unique for its French sound. But also Maestro Muti also makes them sound so warm and so, delicate as well, especially in the strings. And in this Italian music, in the Catalani, he really made the strings so sumptuous and gorgeous and juicy, it was just absolutely outstanding. The warm brass as well, it just gave me goosebumps. It was simply mesmerizing. And then after this piece we had another piece which is ought to be performed a lot more often. It's Verdi's Quattro Stagioni ballet from his opera I Vespri Siciliani. Now, this ballet, the ballet music from I Vespri Siciliani, is rarely performed in the concert hall and rarely performed in the opera. Whenever conductors perform the opera in the opera house, 9 times out of 10 they would omit the ballet music. And I'm thinking to myself, why? Why are you leaving the ballet music out? It's just simply great music. It's just melody after melody after melody. All the movements are very similar. There's loads and loads of joyous moments, some very grandiose parts, particularly in the beginning of the first movement, L'Inverno, which is winter. This really grandiose part. There's some parts there, which loads of tension. There's really quirky parts as well, particularly for the woodwind. the orchestra just simply went for it. And Muti knows his music so well, he trusts the orchestra so much. The orchestra, maestro and the orchestra, have such a close bond, and at several points it was just fun to watch him because he was just standing there. He wasn't even conducting, he was just standing there watching the orchestra just do their thing. That's the trust he has for them, and the orchestra really trusts them as well. It was just simply outstanding. And the he knows exactly what he wants in this music. The orchestra just played to their limits in this piece. It was just simply outstanding. And then in the second half, we had Peter Ilyich Tchaikovsky's Symphony No. 4 in F minor. Now, this is the third time I've seen this piece live. I've seen this live 3 years ago with the Berlin Philharmonic and Zubin Mehta, and I also saw it with the London Philharmonic and Andrei Borecchio. All three performances were very, very, very different, and I liked all three a lot. If I had to choose one, which of the three is going to remain in the memory the most, I think this one is going to remain in the memory the most, with Riccardo Muti and the Orchestre Nationale de France. Riccardo Muti is one of the most famous Tchaikovsky conductors around. His recordings of the Tchaikovsky symphonies with the Philharmonia Orchestra have been well praised, very well praised, particularly his recording of the Fourth Symphony. So I was incredibly excited for this, and this performance was just a knockout performance. The orchestra just played their socks off the whole time. Well, over the years, Muti's interpretations have become slower, but in my view, even though the performances have gotten slower, he's still got the fire and energy and passion like he did decades ago, like he did in the 70s and the 80s, he still gets the orchestra to play to the extreme limits. The first movement, let's start from the first movement. First movement was extremely turbulent, so much drama, tension, and Muti's performance really reflected the tension that Tchaikovsky was going through when he was writing this piece. Out of all the performances I've seen live, this performance really captured that real intensity, The second movement was just absolutely sublime. He just let the first violins sing. He didn't let them play, he let them sing. He made them sing. Some of the woodwind solos, the principal oboist, was just absolutely outstanding. The third movement, the scherzo, the pizzicato movement, it was just simply great. Nothing bad to say about that at all. Muti knows his music well. The orchestra do as well. The fourth movement was just just so exciting. The orchestra at the top of their game at this part, and the conclusion to the piece was just outstanding. I noticed Muti has a particular affinity these days with the timpani, and he really, I've listened to his recordings with like the Chicago Symphony Orchestra, and towards the end of a movement or a piece or something where it's got a very loud chord, he lets the timpanist like drown out everyone else. But it was just absolutely thrilling. At the moment I'm a bit speechless, and was speechless after the concert because it was just absolutely outstanding. I know I keep repeating myself, but it really was. After the piece ended, obviously everyone was cheering, including myself. And then Maestro Muti gave a speech about his new appointment with the orchestra, and how he's their new conductor emeritus. And he was also saying about culture and how music is essential for mankind, and it's true. Two of the musicians in the orchestra gave their last concert on Thursday. They're now retiring, and Muti said to them, when musicians retire, they don't retire. And that's very, very, very true. Their legacy will go on for ages, as well as Maestro's legacy. His legacy will go on for decades and decades, and centuries to inspire new generations, including my generation. So that's it. That was the last concert of my 2025-26 season. The next review won't be for quite a while now. So next concert I've got is the 1st of August with the National Youth Orchestra Wales. So my next review will be around the beginning of August. So stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.